Today on Faith Matters, we continue our series, Someone You Should Know. We have Henry Yan with us. I'm Dan Jarms.
And I'm Seth Weber.
And you're listening to Faith Matters, a podcast to help update you on matters of Faith Bible Church, as well as equip you in matters of the Christian faith.
All right, today I have with me Henry Yan. It's good to have you here, Henry.
Good to be here.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about where you grew up and your childhood?
Well, I was born in Portland, Oregon. I grew up in
Okay.
LeGrand, Oregon.
Okay.
Yeah, just straight south from here. My parents worked all the time, so I got free range.
Wow. You just kind of did whatever you wanted?
Well, it's a small town, so
Okay.
the likelihood of you getting kidnapped was pretty low.
Okay, so what kinds of things did you like to do as a child?
I remember I loved playing basketball with my friends. Then as I got older, it was rollerblading,
Nice.
biking, outdoor stuff,
Nice.
camping
Nice.
stuff. So I had a group of friends. We'd go camping.
Like in high school?
Yep.
Nice.
In a little town, there's not a whole lot to do.
Sure. Then after high school,
Okay, I went to Whitworth,
okay.
and that was because I went to a Presbyterian church, and my sister came up here, so I kind of followed along.
You're a copycat?
Copycat, yeah. Yep.
So what did you study at Whitworth?
Studied accounting, and that's kind of where I'll lead into how I came here.
Yeah.
It was through Whitworth. Yeah, I met a bunch of guys there that came to this church, and one guy in particular dragged me here. The guys I became friends with, they were at least a year older than I was. Majority of them were 2 years older than I was. So by my senior year, all of them they already graduated, gone. And one of my best friends from Whitworth, he used to go here, and he ended up going on a cruise line to play trumpet for a while. And then, so
Okay.
I was left here in Spokane. Really, I didn't really know anyone, and stopped going to church. And he came back and he says, "You're coming to church with me." It's like, all right. But that wasn't my first time here, though.
Sure.
My first time was in 97.
Wow. So you said you studied accounting at Whitworth. Did you always know that you wanted to do accounting, or what kind of led you to that?
In high school, I liked math, but then I took some accounting classes in high school, and that's how I got into accounting.
Okay. So then after college, are you doing accounting? Like what kind of work are you in now?
Yeah, I do accounting.
Okay.
And currently, and for a little while after college, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. Actually, my senior year, halfway through my second semester, I met with my advisor, and I told her that I didn't think accounting was for me.
Oh boy,
And
a little
she
late in the game.
Wow, it's like you said the same thing as she did. Yeah, she said, a little too late, isn't it? It's like, yeah, a little too late. But obviously I stayed in accounting. My ideology changed a bit because, you're in college, you're thinking, oh, my ideal job, it's going to be fun. I'm going to make a lot of money, and it's not going to feel like work. And that changed as I started having family.
Yep, that makes sense.
The practicality part.
Yeah, for sure. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how you came to know Jesus in the first place?
There was a guy who I kind of started meeting with at Whitworth in my freshman year.
Okay.
And he brought me to faith. And one of the things that he told me was Revelations 3:16, I believe, is you're neither hot nor cold, you're lukewarm, right? And so that stuck in my head because the majority of my life growing up, I did go to the church. But it was for the morality. My mom wanted us, she took us to church, and then a family friend took us to church. And I think a lot of it's just for the moral aspect of it, or or social purposes. And then so I remember him saying, if this is, there's a bullseye, right? And if you hit just right outside of it, did you hit the bullseye? And no, right? And so that kind of stuck through my head for a few years. And it wasn't until my senior year, didn't have any friends. They all kind of left Spokane area. And then my friend came back from the cruise ships and so dragged me to the faith. And that he also invited me to live with him and the guys.
Okay.
And a bunch of other guys. And so at that point, I wasn't sure if I wanted to, but then eventually I did because it's like, I just don't want to live by myself. And my expectation from moving in was preachy. You know, they're going to preach to me the gospel. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm going to hear a lot about Jesus this and, you know, and how I'm a sinner. And but when I moved in, it wasn't anything like that. They just showed me, instead of preaching to me, they just showed me Christ through their different strengths. Well, one of the guys, I remember him, he would just always stay up with me just to talk, right? And another guy who would always, I just remember he had a stained glass window for his bedroom door, and you could see the light, you know, coming through that stained glass. And you know, before he even gets up, you know, before he comes out of his bedroom, he's in there praying or reading the word. But I talked to him later in life, and he's like, yeah, some of those times I fell back asleep, but you know,
happened to the best of us and the worst of us.
Yeah, right. But yeah, through those like different, another guy, he was just always happy, right? That's, you know, they would talk about that joy in your life, you know, like regardless of what's going on, what's happening in life, he had that joy, and you can see it in the way he acted, in the way he expressed himself. You can see that joy in him. And so another guy's servant, always a servant, right? Serving others. You can just, even the simplest things like doing dishes or just cleaning things up after people. So through that, I kind of saw Christ through their actions, because I knew the gospel since I grew up in the church. I knew the gospel. Yeah. And I think they knew that I knew it too. And it was just kind of, okay, well, why aren't you living that out? And it was over. Yeah, I just remember over that course of 2001, I became a believer.
Wow. That's a cool testimony to hear, like a group of guys working together, like showing you different aspects of Christ's character. And like that's a huge encouragement, I would think, for college students, like work together, like show people Christ through how you cooperate. Yeah,
I'm not sure if they meant to do it that way, right? Sure. Or if they were actively, but just they're the lifestyle. Yeah. I mean, they're not perfect guys, and they would admit that in their imperfections, right? They were able to still show Christ show aspects, because we're not going to be perfect in every area. Yeah. So it's cool to see the different aspects of Christ lived out in each of them.
Wow, that's really cool to hear. So through that process, you ended up at Faith Bible Church. Tell me how you've been involved here at the church and ministries since that time.
When I came here, I was still in the college ministry, so okay. I wasn't necessarily serving in a ministry. I was part of the college ministry and learning and growing. And I needed a lot of growing because I was pretty immature at that time. So I was in college ministry for a little while, and then I met up with Patrick McConnell, and he started discipling me, and then he pulled me into King's Kids and then junior high ministry.
So for those of you who haven't been around for a long time, Patrick McConnell used to be...
He was in back then, the Men of God program. It was kind of like Aspiring Men.
And then King's Kids was a children's ministry program, right?
That would be like Discovery.
Okay.
So during that time, Valley Bible Church wanted him to be their youth pastor.
Okay.
And so the elders sent him over there, and a group of us went with him. I was one of them.
Okay.
He was discipling me, just kind of, something new, something exciting. You know, I wanted to continue to serve with him. And so I was at Valley Bible for a few years, and that's where I met my wife.
Okay.
And then we got married there, and so about 2010-ish, we came back to Faith Bible Church.
So you said you met your wife at Valley Bible Church. Tell me about your family, your wife and children.
So, Mandy, my wife, we've been married for 16 years.
Nice.
Yeah, 16 years.
Okay.
And we have 3 kids here. And so our oldest is Parker, then Elizabeth, and then Lily. Then we had our son in 2020, and he lived for about 35 minutes.
Mm.
And then my wife miscarried again after that, 2021 sometime. So, yep.
Got some more kids that you'll get to see one day.
Yep.
So tell us what God has been teaching you lately, Henry.
Well, I'm learning that I'm still a sinner, even after all these years.
Really?
Yeah. Lately, I've realized, like being a dad, there's certain, I feel like I'm neglecting some of my dad duty, have been neglecting some of my dad duties in the way I'm raising my kids. And no, not like, it's more of just the time with my kids, right? Because Mandy and I serve in college ministry. And we've been pretty involved in the college ministry for many years. And just as of late, as my kids are getting older, I realize, I need to be spending more time with them, and I need to be directly into their lives. And not that I haven't been, but more, what's the word?
More intentional.
Yeah, more intentional, or having more deliberate time with them. Like, okay, these are the things that I want to do with my kids, rather than just spending time with them. Have direction. Yeah, maybe that'd be the word I'd use. Direction, some direction with my kids, and then we got into ministry thinking, they'll see us working in ministry, and they'll know that ministry is important. Being involved in the church, being involved in ministry, they'll see us through that. But I think it's at a point where they need our attention. How do we balance that out? And I guess that's one of my biggest challenges right now with kids. And obviously, my wife and I, we always continually working on our marriage, and there's always in different phases of life. There's different obstacles and different challenges that occur. So, try to be more loving towards her in whatever the situation is.
Yeah, that's good. We can definitely help you working on that. all of us men can be growing in that for sure. So on that note, how can the church be praying for you right now, you and your family? Well,
I don't know where our kids are spiritually. So, my son, he believes believes in the word. And so there's some fruit in that. And so just pray for more I had a few conversations with him, but pray for more conversations, and not just for my son, but for my daughters as well, that they would hear truth. And I'm thankful for the church that we do teach the truth, teach God's word. And so they're hearing some of that. But I'm praying for that they would hear from us, and that we would encourage them and know questions to ask them, and how they can be led to Christ, I guess. And pray for our marriage, that we would continue to grow as one. Also, and at this time, also, pray for just our ministry. What does ministry look like going forward? Mandy and I always felt like ministry is always if you're a part of church, you're going to be a part of ministry. So, what does ministry look like at this point in time in our life, with our kids being at the age they are?
Yeah, those are good things to wrestle through. All right, we'll be praying for you. Are you ready for the speed round?
All right.
Let's give it a go.
I'm very indecisive, so we'll see.
Cats or dogs?
I'll have to say dogs.
Pineapple on pizza?
Yes.
Do you have any pets?
Do kids count?
They should.
Well, no.
No.
My daughter's allergic to a lot of things.
You're a smart man. Favorite movie or TV show?
Lord of the Rings, Band of Brothers are kind of some of my favorite.
Favorite band?
I don't listen to music a whole lot.
Favorite podcast?
I don't think I have one either.
Oh, okay. What do you listen to when you're in the car, Henry?
I guess I just listen to a little bit of the news.
Best surprise gift you've ever gotten?
Before I was married, my wife, girlfriend back then, she surprised me with an experience that I used to like to do. Back in college, I used to like pottery on a wheel.
Okay.
And so her neighbor had a studio.
Oh, cool.
And so she surprised me and took me over there, and I got to do some pottery.
Nice. That's fun.
Yeah.
It's a very thoughtful gift. If you didn't have to sleep, what would you do with all the extra time?
No, my son and I like to play board games.
Okay.
So we probably play some board games.
Would your son be sleeping though?
No, he's a night owl. He can stay up longer than I can.
Nice. Cool. All right. Last question. Favorite place to eat out in Spokane?
One of my favorites is probably Wolf's Lodge out by Kellogg or wherever that is.
Okay. Yeah.
Out in the middle of nowhere.
Okay.
But that one, not the one in town.
Right. Yeah. I've heard that there's a stark difference.
There is.
Okay. Well, Henry Yan, he's one of these people that you need to know at Faith Bible Church. So thanks for joining us, Henry.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.